This episode is brought to you by Vast as the Ocean Photography and iLL since 1977 studios.
All right, good morning, iLL community. It's your boy iLL, the inspirational black man, and we are back with another video. This is for my an iLL conversation channel, but this is the walk with me edition. So usually about 4 o'clock in the mornings when I don't go to the gym, I go for a little stroll. You see it's kind of dark out here at 4 in the morning. Kind of scary, but anyway, so I'm not going to put this on my Fitness Over 40 channel. I'm going to rebrand that channel. I didn't know how common that name was, but anywho, back to the video. So I call this the Walk With Me edition because I'm going to have a conversation with myself while I'm walking at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's 4:30. I got a late start trying to get my Sony vlog monitor to link. I forgot you had to hold the button for 7 seconds to activate Bluetooth, but here we are now. All right, so years ago, I'm 46 now. I guess about 25 years ago, I used to go jogging with my cuz, and he was going to Prairie View for track. And we would go, jog. I would train with him or whatever, even though I wasn't doing nothing with my life at the time. But hopefully there's no wind sound. But anyways, I started working and started gaining weight, which I didn't realize I had gained. I went from like 180 to 320 in about like 6 years. Just, working home, not being really active or whatever. But I remember one day I went to my sister's house and she had a scale in her bathroom. So for giggles, I got on the scale just to see where I was at. And the scale said I was 320 pounds. I was like, oh my God. And shortly before that, like I said, I jogged a lot in high school and shortly after high school. But I had tried jogging one day and I just felt so heavy, like I was like something was pulling me back, holding me back, and I didn't realize I had gained so much weight over the years. So I spoke with my doctor, and she said that at my age and my weight, she didn't recommend jogging. It was bad for your knees and stuff like that. So she said just a little brisk walk would suffice, 30 minutes a day can lower blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, all that good stuff. So here we are. So actually I ran into a video on YouTube. This lady, I don't remember what her name was or anything. It was after I saw her on the algorithm, I started getting more videos about the benefits of walking, and it's the easiest way to decrease belly fat just by walking, and walking is the number one best source of exercise because you're moving your arms, your legs, you're breathing, and your heart going. And like I said, you can actually be as extreme as you want. You can pick up the pace, you can power walk, you can get ankle weights or arm weights. You can actually walk with hand weights, which I do on certain occasions. Okay, so it's hard to talk and walk at the same time. So sometimes I do squats when I get to a certain part, just to kind of work a different part of the leg. On some Sundays when I do it, when I hit a 1 mile mark, I'll stop and do 15 push-ups so I can get some chest workout in. It's kind of cold today, so I won't be doing any push-ups or squats today. Just wanted to get this video out, but so walking also is the original form of transportation. So years ago, people just walked everywhere. I mean, there just wasn't no options. This is before the horse and buggy days. People just walked and walked and walked and walked. I said, get your heart going. And one of my friends at the gym, he made a valid point one day. We were talking about, people were saying how cardio is not the best form of exercise, and you should be lifting, and cardio is for women. And my dude Pat was like, you know, cardio is good for your heart, and if you don't exercise that heart muscle and that muscle stops, then every other muscle in your body is going to stop as well. So I was like, you know what, that makes sense. So usually on Sundays or the days I don't go to the gym, I walk 5 miles around the neighborhood. Actually like 5 1/4 miles. It's technically about 10,000 steps. But the lady on the video was saying how she had started doing about 15,000 steps per day. And it's not easy, but it is obtainable. You know, I usually put on music, walk around, and or sometimes people suggest putting on ebooks, just whatever, just to kind of keep you going. You can actually get stuff done. You can like jot notes, or you can do video notes and kind of record your brainstorming ideas for that moment. Let me readjust this thing. Is that better? No, I think I want to do it the other way. I don't know. Guess I should have thought this out. But anyways, yeah, it feels weird walking with my arm extended so far out, but really impressed with this Sony camera. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So anyways, like I said, the lady was stating in her video how she walked 15,000 steps per day. She did it every day for 30 days, and she significantly lowered her belly fat, and she felt much better. So actually, I've been doing this I've been walking for a while. Some days, like on weekends, I would walk to the gym instead of drive. And that's a 2-mile walk there, workout, 2-mile walk back. On days I didn't go to the gym, I would do this 5-mile expedition that I'm on now. Like I said, that was about 10,000 steps. And recently I started doing a 7.5-mile walk from work to home. It's about 7.5 miles, and that was roughly a little over 15,000 steps. I think it was close to like 17 or something like that. But I remember the first time I did it, I got home and I was wore the hell out. I had chafing in my inner thighs because I have thigh rub because I'm fat. I don't even think I ate dinner that night. I got home, I showered, and I laid straight down, went straight to bed. But as I've been doing it, I think I've done it 3 times so far. The second time I was all right, you know. Like I said, I do the 5 miles all the time, but I guess when I crossed that 5-mile threshold and I still had 2.5 miles to get home, that's when the challenge kind of kicked in. But so I stated I made it. Now when I walk, just to walk to me now, it's not really a struggle like it used to be. I remember like stepping up on a curb, my right hip would kind of click and pop, and my knees would feel unstable. But I've been doing a lot of walking. Like I said, sometimes I do squats while I'm walking. Excuse me, when I don't make it to the gym. So it's a lot of health benefits with just walking. And you see a lot of elderly people walking around the neighborhood all the time, you know. And I guess there's some truth to that 30 minutes a day. Keep you active, keep you healthy or whatever. But I just feel that to reach my goals, I need more than 30 minutes. So here we are. So as you can see, we're just walking through College Station, Texas. It's like 4. What time is it? Oh, it's 4:38 in the morning. It's just, like I said, I usually start at 4. But I was trying to debate if I wanted to do this video. Because I'm going to do the 5 mile. It takes me an hour and 40 minutes just for You either take the same trail or same path or whatever. I remember one day I did the path backwards and it was a challenge, you know. So speaking of walking, like I said, I've been walking my whole life. Before I got a car, just from kids walking up and down the neighborhood, and even like in high school, my dude, Ed Ray, shout out to my boy Eddie Ray. I haven't talked to my dude in, man, it's been over 20 years. After high school, I remember he hurt his knee in track and he worked a little bit and then we kind of lost contact. And then I heard he moved to Florida because he was a huge Seminole fan, Florida State. And last I heard he was living out in Florida. But me and my dude, we used to walk all over town. I mean, all over town. We walked everywhere we went. I would ride the bus to school my senior year and my junior, senior year, whatever. We were in band together. So actually, Ed was my brother's. I guess he was a friend of my brother's first, because they were in the same grade. I was like a year behind them or whatever. But when I met Ed in band, we hit it off, and that was like my dude, you know. And we were always the outcast, and we didn't care, you know. People made fun of us because our music. We were big, huge Wu-Tang, East Coast. And, you know, down here in Texas, everyone was screw this, screw that, and Pokey and Kiki, you know, which I don't know. It was good music and all, but it just didn't hit home. It didn't hit home. I guess you could say it didn't touch my soul like Wu did. You know, Wu was for the kids. You know, and I just love the subject matter that they talked about, you know. So, you know, we would walk and talk. So I remember one night, it was late as hell. I think it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock. And we were walking and he's like, we were at his house and we were like, hey, I'm gonna walk you halfway home, then I'm going home because it's getting late. I was like, cool, you know. So in the process of walking me halfway home, we ended up all the way at my house. And I was like, oh shit, we were at my house. I said, well, okay, well, it's only fair since you walked me home, I'll walk you halfway. And we did that shit all night, just walking and talking. I said, that was my dude. We talked about everything, you know. And I said, being that we were pretty much cut from the same cloth, we had so much in common, so much to talk about. And I guess one thing that separated me from Ed was he was a little bit more athletic than I was. He played basketball. He ran track, great triple jump. And he grew up with both his parents. His dad was in his life, and his dad was a cool dude. And his mom was really, really sweet. And me, I was a single parent, came from a single parent. But like I said, I think we had so much in common with music and, you know, just things in life and stuff like that or whatever. So one day we were walking, and like I said, he was a pretty sharp dude. And one day we were walking, we were talking about something, and he was like, you know what? So many people get wrapped up in trying to understand the meaning of life. He was like, life is not meant to be understood, it's meant to be lived. And I was like, oh shit. That was just so deep to me, you know, and that was just so deep. Because life is meant to be lived and not understood and studied, you know. And I've always kept that in my heart, you know. When people say, oh, life's not fair, and, you know, I don't understand why this is happening, and I don't understand why that happened, and I'm questioning this and questioning that. I like this little building right here. And I don't know, like you said, life is not meant to be understood, it's meant to be lived. And you go through life, and it's all about how you handle things. It's not about how you fall, it's about how you get back up, you know. So shouts to my boy Ed, wherever you are in life. Hope all is good with you. So I'm almost at the 1 mile mark. You can see, I don't know if you can see, but there's nothing really going on this time in the morning. It's pretty dark out here. Pretty dark out here. But you'll be amazed at the amount of people that you see walking this time of the morning. I remember when COVID was around and the gym had shut down. I got up one morning to go walk, and I'm walking. And I've always had this thing about, wearing bright lit clothes or bright clothes, nothing dark. So you won't look suspicious walking. I mean, like a fat dude walking 4 o'clock in the morning could be kind of suspicious looking, but so I always wore something orange or light lime green or yellow, something kind of, stand out. So I'm walking. It's like 4:15 in the morning. And I'm walking and I kind of look down the street a little. And I see this white lady approaching me and I'm like, oh shit, here we go. She's gonna see me, she's about to freak out, she's gonna cross the street. And so as we got closer to each other, she didn't cross the street. So I'm like, okay, now I'm getting nervous now. I said, this lady gonna say something, I did something, or no matter, she can just lie or whatever, and I'm just paranoid as hell, and I think I was more scared of her than she was scared of me. So I'm just walking as we got close. I had my music going, so I kind of nodded and smiled at her, and she had this look on her face like, why are you scared of me or whatever? It was just funny, but I don't know, a lot goes on in this world at this time in the morning, but not saying this is the safest city in the world, but it's you see a lot of people out walking with their dogs this time in the morning, and it's kind of a norm around here. So, I would advise anyone to get up when you can, get your steps in, get your heart going. Because I know people who, I do more steps by 6 a.m. than they do all day, And as we age and mature and start falling apart, very, very important that we get our steps in, no matter how late or how early, It's not about the path you take, it's about making it home at the end of the day, It's about making your steps by the end of the day, no matter what time of the day or where you do it. Just got to get them in, I had something planned for this walk because it's like a hour and 40 minutes, and I just lost all track of time. But like I said, Ed was saying how life is not meant to be life is meant to be lived and not understood. And then I remember years ago, my daughter, this was probably 4 or 5 years ago, my daughter calls me, whatever. She's like, Dad, you know what? People always say life is not fair. She was like, well, if it's not fair for everybody, that means it is fair, right? And I was like, yeah, I guess you want to say that, I mean, everyone has their trials and tribulations in life, Some people have harder lives just due to, parental positions, like the type of position your parents left you in, or if they didn't get you ready for this situation or that situation. Or some people make poor decisions and end up having harder lives, For me, I've always been the type to say I'm gonna learn from everyone else's mistake, so I don't have to make those same mistakes, A few years ago, I had a guy tell me, hey man, you're lucky, you only have one kid. And I was like, that's not luck, that was a choice. I chose to have one. After me and my daughter's mom split, I didn't want multiple kids by multiple women. So I was like, you know what, once my daughter turns a certain age, which was 5, if I didn't have any more, I didn't want any more. Now she's 18, about to be 19, and I joke people every time. I say, I would end my life if I ever had another baby at my age. I'm 46. My daughter's almost 19. And to go back to the whole life's not fair. Yeah, some people do have harder lives or whatever, harder starts, harder finishes. But it's all about, how we handle it. Like I said, it's all about how we get back up, And my life has been fairly easy because I chose to, learn from other people's mistakes. I was actually going somewhere with this story and I just forgot. So instead of just walking around the neighborhood, I really had this whole like first hour planned out, and my whole thought process just went to caca. I don't remember anything now. Here is the exact 1 mile spot. And like I said, I use my Apple Watch to record my progress. Actually, I'm 0.04 miles of hitting the 1 mile mark. So, all right, so as you know, Thanksgiving just passed. Didn't seem like Thanksgiving this year. It's like 10 years ago, I lost my sister in a car wreck. And then 2 years ago, I lost my mom to cancer. And then my sister worked this year. She said she was just gonna be around the house, not doing too much. And it's kind of like, holidays are not the same, you know. I guess as you get older and people move on and
split pace, 20 minutes, 47 seconds per mile.
all right, so I just hit the 1 mile mark. I mean, the holidays aren't the same anymore. I remember as kids, we were excited for Christmas, not just for the gifts, but just the fact it was the Christmas time of the year, you know. It was, you know, you're gonna get some good food, you were gonna see a bunch of family, but as I stated, since my mom passed, my mom's brothers and sisters, we kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like that was her family, not really ours, because growing up, I had one aunt, she came down on a regular basis. It was my mom, still was her favorite sister. Last time I saw her was at my mom's funeral. Like I said, we didn't really, technically that was my mom's family. My family's always been my sister and my daughter, you know, so Christmas is coming up, then New Year. Actually, my birthday is coming up right before Christmas. I'll be 47. I still have some goals I'm trying to get to. I know I'm late to the game, but I would like to get my blog off the ground. My photography need to upgrade some gear on that. I don't need to, but I did a event. I'm not really into events, but did an event and it was kind of dark in the venue, and my camera's actually 11 years old. And I mean, it did what it needed to do, but as it started getting darker and people started dancing, you know, I guess the fast pace and the darkness and the age of my camera kind of really wasn't the best recipe for whatever. So kind of want to get a new camera, and I wish I can just get that going. And I would also like to get my YouTube channel up. I'd like to get monetized. If I can get an extra $1,000 a month just from doing something like this, I call that a win, you know. If I can just get a few more subscribers and, like I said, get more creative with my content. And because at my age, I do know a lot of stuff, but just need to get it out and get in front of some people who can benefit from it. I also would like to get my website 100% to my satisfaction. Like I said, my blog's on there. I used to love blogging before my mom passed. I mean, I wrote about everything, about finance, travel, and I was doing at least 3 posts a day, you know. And then it's like when my mom passed, I kind of lost that. Like, it's kind of like she took that. But I actually wrote a post about how I put that behind me, and I appreciate everything she did for me. And because of her, I was a, you know, blogger or whatever. Just my love for taking notes and just putting stuff out into the universe, you know, just positive stuff, positive energy, and just staying away from negativity. So here we are. That's my new favorite saying, here we are. Alrighty, so I don't know what to say at this point. My whole mind just went blank. So I guess this will be a little practice of me trying to get my thoughts a little better. Like I said, I've always thought YouTubers were weird because they just sat there and talked to a camera. And I'm like, that's the weirdest crap in the world. But I guess they say it becomes natural, or more natural or whatever, just talking to yourself. My mom used to say, it's not about talking to yourself as long as you don't answer yourself, but I guess when you're in front of a camera, you're doing it all. So I guess we are crazy people, but it's a new day and age. So there's something about the air in the morning, like 4:30, 5 o'clock air, just so fresh. And when you do a deep inhale through your nose, you can feel like the water droplets in the air, and it kind of coats and soothes, and it's like fresh air, like newborn air, I guess you could say. It just came out this morning. Just getting learning about the latest and greatest quality of air. So somebody told me to take notes and write them down, but I was like, I got this, because I had the whole first hour planned out. But now I feel like a damn fool because I don't remember nothing I was going to talk about. So I'll show y'all what's going on out here. It's not much going on. You see, just real dark. Another one of my fears is out here in the morning getting attacked by like a coon or a damn squirrel or something, just run a possum or something. I'm too big to be running, and so I don't know how that situation would ever pan out. So okay, so I guess about a month ago, a little less than a month ago, the election just happened and Mr. Trump's back in office. And okay, this is part of what I want to talk about. A lot of people were kind of like worshiping the dude because, and some people wanted to kill him or whatever, but I don't know, just nothing terrible happened the first time he was in office, and Biden got in office, and I don't know what his thought process was, but with all the sending money overseas and neglecting the people who pay taxes. The point I was gonna make was there's a saying or term in our community called D-riding, and D stands for, I'll put it in the comments or whatever. D-riding is when, short story for reference, when I was in college, I knew this one guy, and we were just talking, this is a group of us having just a random conversation, let's say movies, for example, and he would be like, man, that one movie came out, I didn't like it, and it was this, I didn't like it. And I said, well, I enjoyed it. It was pretty funny. Then he'd be like, yeah, you're right. It was kind of funny. Or no matter what he said, if you just had kind of disagreed with him, he was like, yeah, you're right. I was like, okay, what's wrong with this dude? Like form an opinion and own it. If the movie was crap and you, my boy, you tell me it was crap, yeah, that's your opinion. I liked it, you didn't. Okay, on to the next topic, And that's another thing as adults. One of my favorite YouTubers from years ago, he said that once, that you could say something that someone agrees with you 99 times. Okay, yeah, you're right. Just like on some yes man type stuff. But the minute you say, I prefer skim milk, no, I like regular milk. And the first time you disagree with someone or you say something that they don't like, they would discount all 99 things that you agreed with. And I just think that's lunacy. That's what, like friendships nowadays. People we're losing marriages and relationships and friendships over an election. Like, just because your candidate of choice didn't make it into office, you gotta end your marriage. Wow, But the point that I was making, with a lot of this D-riding is, I knew people who would only go to church on Easter Sunday because that's what everyone did. I know people who would only, they were like, they hated football but they would watch the Super Bowl because that's what everyone else did. And that's how I feel about the election. It's like no one's into politics. Well, I won't say no one. Well, I'll say 90% of people are not into politics until the presidential election comes around. Then all of a sudden, they want to chime in and be loud and boisterous and spew hate because that's what everyone else is doing, you know. My point is, all that energy that you put out for the presidential election, put a little of that energy into the local level, you know, your mayors and people who are on the local level.
Exercise ring closed.
Okay, so I'm 30 minutes in, my exercise ring has completed. But yeah, I mean, we put a little bit more focus onto the elections that are closer to us, like, you know, getting roads fixed and a better sheriff would mean safer streets so more people can get out and walk 4 o'clock in the morning, you know. So we get so wrapped up in the presidential national thing that we no one really talks about on the local level. And I think that's where we should put our focus because it affects us closely. You know, the old saying, like, until it hits home, those local elections will allow changes to hit home faster, you know. So, as I stated, I wasn't a fan of either the candidates, but I'm a fan of policy, and not saying who I was interested in or whatever, but I like those policies better. And I felt that at my age and where I live, those policies would benefit me more. And that's why I did what I did. Keep it at that. So, I've never blogged this long before. My camera done went from 93 to like 75 within 30 minutes. So this video may not make it the whole hour and a half, but I just want to change something up. Just kind of give I take in a lot of information when I listen to music. A lot of artists that I listen to, they're really conscious people, and they spit that hot fire, some nice information I take in. And this is my way of kind of processing it and sorting it out and getting it back out into the universe, you know. So I heard a quote once that said, when you pray, you talk to God, but when you meditate, it's when you listen to God. And kind of mixes in with another quote I heard years ago, that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should do twice as much listening as we do talking. And like I said, I'm not the most religious guy in the world, but like when you pray, I've seen people pray and heard people pray or whatever. And it's always, they thank him once and they plead and they ask like 20 times, you know. And it's like the bulk of your prayer should not be asking for stuff, and then when things are going your way, you kind of don't pray as hard. People put a lot of energy into prayer when they want something done. But let's say you're having a good day and put that same type of energy into prayer, just thanking them for what's about to happen, what happened yesterday. You know, thank you for having, you know, good family or good friends around you in your circle. And, you know, let me switch hands to the left. I'm right-handed, but you know what I was saying? If you can't change your friends, you know. You decide a lot in your life who you choose to be around, who you choose to hang with. And like I said, our age, you know, these red flags in people, you kind of notice them a little sooner. So I know people who you don't hear from them until they want something. Or, hey, I was wondering if I could borrow this, or and they just start, hey, how you doing? Like, okay. I remember that movie Life. Eddie Murphy was like, my daddy always told me, when someone starts talking about the weather, you better hold your wallet. And it's funny but true. When people you haven't heard from in months, years, and coon years or whatever start popping up, hey, how you doing? How's this? Oh, by the way, since I have you on the phone, can I borrow $20? Like, someone's barbecuing or something. I don't know if it smells good or not, because it's hard to breathe when I'm walking and talking to myself, but there's a lot of stuff that you smell in the morning air, and the bulk of it is good. So walking is just so peaceful. Working the bulk of your muscles and focus on breathing. And like I say, if you want to listen to an ebook, you can take that in. And yeah, I was saying, I tried to stay away from this conversation, but I was not born, but I was raised on hip hop, and just like I said, Wu-Tang and whole Wu affiliates and Mobb Deep, Onyx, MOP, Deluxe, and Tribe. Wasn't a huge Tribe fan. They kind of were phasing, I wouldn't say phasing out, but when I really got into it, it was like 92. I guess right before that change in subject matter or whatever. It was like I just found so much positive in it, and just with anything in life, like if you go buy a barrel of apples, there's always going to be that one apple that's not good, So I hear a lot of people when I was on Twitter, or X now, saying, oh, hip hop is just so bad. It degrades women and it promotes violence in the community, and that's why hip hop is the reason black people can't get forward in life. But they talk about murder and killing and blah, 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 blah. Then those same people will go to watch a John Wick movie with all that murder and everything else, and they don't blink an eye. Oh, it's entertainment when they do it, but when we do it, it's just so negative. It's like everything we do is just always so bad, But I always felt that me, myself, and I just feel the bulk of most people are visual learners. And if you want to show me how to cook a cake, if you did it in a video, step by step, opposed to, I guess, audio version of it, if you actually visually showed me how to do it, I would retain that information faster. So, everyone has so much to say about hip hop, and but they ignore the bad. They ignore the good, and they put so much focus on the bad. Cannabis said it best in one of his songs. He said hip hop. He said media suppression is a weapon. That's what messed up hip hop's progression. Like the media, they will put all the bad stuff on the limelight. This one comedian years ago, this probably was like 93, he was talking about the media, and it was funny what he said, but when you kind of look back and think about it, it was like, dude, it was true. It was real what he said. He said there could be a house fire, apartment fire, whatever, and you'll see a black man on the side of the road with a suit. And on the other side of the street, you'll see a crackhead, The media will go straight to that black crackhead, knowing he's gonna embarrass the whole community. So they would, and even like in the work market, I've heard stories where people don't get called back because of their name, or they could be more qualified than another counterpart, but they don't get that call back, you know. But I was thinking, you know, like, so hip hop, I love hip hop to death, you know. Just a lot of these artists that, you know, and at the time it was kind of weird because I thought they were like so much older than me. A lot of them just 2 or 3 years older than me. And like I said, I'm 46, and like I think Nas just turned 51 or something like that they were saying. And I was like, I thought he was like way older than me, you know, because I mean, I guess back in 93, 94, when Illmatic dropped, you know, the stuff he was talking about, like he was like a poet or like a philosopher. Like he knew a lot for his age, you know. And the stuff he was throwing out there at such a young age was like, wow, you know, I just felt they were so much younger than me. But like I said, all this information he was putting out about trust and loyalty and watching your back and who to trust and how to spot someone fake. And I mean, that was all the lessons I was learning from hip hop, you know. And like I said, I was raised in a small town, so it wasn't like a whole lot of street stuff going on, but I did learn, you know, you gotta watch your back and who to trust, and don't put all your trust in one basket because that handle broke. I mean, everything's on the floor, you know. So
Split 2. Sprint pace, 20 minutes, 17 seconds.
all right, so I just hit the 2nd mile mark, battery at 70%, so we'll see how it's gonna pan out. It's kind of, I don't see how people use these selfie sticks or whatever, but I guess the next thing I want to talk about is the word perception. Perception is like something that needs to be explained to a lot of people, you know. So your perspective on something could be totally different. So small example is you have a sentence, and wherever you put like a comma or a certain punctuation mark could change the whole content of a sentence just by, you know. Or let's say you were out in the store one day and you see 2 people talking and they kind of raising their voice, but from a distance, from your perspective, your standpoint, oh, they about to fight over here. And as you get closer, you see they're just laughing and talking because they haven't seen each other in a while, you know. So from your perspective, they were about to fight. So in life, when you go through life, you can't discount someone else's perspective, you know, how you were raised. Like I said, you know, where I'm from, you kind of like feel drama about to pop off. You just by people mannerisms or word choice or whatever, you can just tell something's about to happen. And some people who didn't grow up around a certain group of people, they walk in blindly to a lot of stuff, you know. Just your perspective or your perception, how you perceive things, can actually ruin a friendship or whatever. So when people are telling you something and their perspective is different from yours, just, I mean, you respect it, you know, because you don't know what life trial or life tribulation brought them to that perspective, you know. So so this is where I'm at now. It's 5:12 in the morning. It's still pretty dark out here. A lot of people have Christmas lights up, and I don't know, my mom, she wasn't really into the whole Christmas light thing. I remember one year we kind of went all out, and it was pretty and all, but she swore it raised her light bill. And she said that the juice was not worth the squeeze, you know. My light bill's so high. Oh man, I miss my mother and my grandmother. I remember just growing up, some of the stuff they said was funny. It's like everything we did raised a down light bill. If you talking too loud, if the TV's too loud, that's raising the light bill. Like, that's a whole volume issue, not a power issue. I mean, just everything we did would raise the light bill. I remember a little quote I seen on Instagram, like when I was a kid, I was afraid of the dark. Now as an adult that I'm paying my own light bill, I'm afraid of the lights now. College Station be stinging. I remember one summer my bill was like almost $600 just because I don't know why. I was like, I'm tired of paying these summertime high-ass light bills. Shit. Adulting is kind of funny when you look at it. It's like you take all these lifelong lessons that your parents and community taught you, and you put it all in one little suitcase and you take it off. And then, that's my thing about training. Like when you train a new employee or whatever, hey, if this happens, this is what you do. If this happens, this is what you do. And you kind of paint that blueprint. There's only one solution to every problem. So when you're training someone and they change and something changes, you're not trained for that situation. It's kind of like, oh shit, we kind of pause and reset, you know? So we're trained to graduate from high school, go to college, graduate at 23, get married at 25, have kids at 27, pay your house off or your car off at 30, and house paid off at 45, put a white picket fence and a basketball goal in the backyard, and work till you're 60, retire at 65, travel the world for a year, and then you're dead. You know, it's like, what the hell? You know, that's why I'm just ranting right now. I forgot I had a point to this, but yeah, so, here's where I was going with this. So I always train for, you know, problem resolution, not how to attack a problem, you know. One of my favorite stories that I heard back in 2002, I think it was, just talked about how U.S. astronauts went out of space and they had pens and paper or whatever, and they were trying to take notes, but because of gravity, the ink would flow up and it would not allow them to take notes with a pen. So what did we do with our brilliant selves? We got with this one company and they spent billions on top of billions of dollars to create a pen that would force the ink to go down even in outer space. And oh, you look, now we can take notes in outer space. We got this pen. And you know, it's like, oh, this pen is better than sliced bread and blah, 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 blah. You know, now we can take notes in outer space. But while we were spending all these billions of dollars on this pen, the Russian cosmonauts, they just used pencils. So the problem was the pen wasn't working. The solution was they need to take notes. You know, you could have took a damn crayon out of space and that would have been the solution to that problem, you know? So when you start dealing with conflict resolution, you know, put the focus on the solution and not the problem, you know? I'm gonna say that again for the people in the back. Focus on the solution and not the problem. And okay, this is, I'm a whole hour late, but this is the point I was gonna make about focusing on the solution, not the problem. When was the last time you ever went to the doctor and they said, well, Mr. Such and so or Mrs. Such and so, your blood pressure is high, your cholesterol is high, your sugar is high, your oxygen is low, your salt intake is high. Here's a pill for each one of those things. Whenever you ever heard a doctor say, have them prescribe you a gym membership, I need you to go to the gym every morning, walk 30 on a treadmill, lift light weights for 10, and go home. You know, when you focus on the problem of the high blood pressure, focusing on the problem is giving you a magic pill that may, in theory, lower your blood pressure, but it creates other problems, you know? So always focus on the solution. And to me, solutions to high blood pressure is like a gym membership or monitoring our eating habits. You know, they'll tell you, oh, write down everything you ate and bring it back to me in a month. You know, a month could be too late, you know. So when you focus on a solution, it's like, hey, go walk for 30 minutes a day. If you don't have time, make time. You can either walk for 30 minutes a day or you can be dead every day, you know. It's your choice, you know. So always focus on a solution and not focus on the problem, you know. It's kind of like let's say you're on a TV and you need to pay your cable bill. So the problem is I need to pay my cable bill, I need some money. So let me go get some money by selling my TV so I can pay my cable bill. I'm like, what? That's what happens when you focus on a problem. And I think that's one thing they don't teach in school is how to properly focus on a solution. We always want to stare a problem right in the face. You know, I'm not saying avoid your problems, but if you're intending on fixing that problem, don't attack the problem, attack the solution, you know, make that problem go away for good, you know. I think country singer Joe Diffie had a song saying something along the lines, if you ignore it, they'll go away. He was saying something about he was driving his truck one day and the check engine light came on, so he put a piece of black tape over it, you know, ignored the problem, thinking that it would go away, and then the truck broke down on him. So you can't avoid or ignore problems. Second verse, he was saying how he was ignoring his woman, and if you ignore it, it'll go away, you know, and he ignored her and it went away. So, you know, fitness is, our health is our wealth. You know, you can have $1 million and if you're in a wheelchair, need an aid to push you around, you can't enjoy it. It's like, what's the point, you know? So technically your health is really your wealth. Without your health and a strong heart, they say one monkey don't stop no show, but one heart will stop the whole show. Your heart go out on you. So, and another thing I was thinking about when I tell people that I go to the gym 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, they was like, oh my God, you're crazy for going so early. Why do you go so early? I mean, I have my reasons, you know, it's less crowded and I don't like going to the gym, you know, when it's super close to me to start getting ready for work. I need to go work out, come home and then regroup and get mentally prepared to go to work. So I don't like going to the gym at 8 when it's super crowded, then have to be at work at 9, you know, it's kind of doesn't fit my lifestyle. So I'd rather get up at 3:30, go to the gym and go walk, whatever. And I don't know. But they always thought Einstein was crazy and see how he turned out. But people who make excuses, oh, you're crazy going to the gym that morning, they come up with every excuse in the world. But if I said, hey, it's $1 million laying on in the street, 3 o'clock in the morning, go get it. That just goes back to those saying people make time and put effort towards things they want to do. So when you do something or decide not to do something, Cannabis said it best. He said choosing not to choose is a choice, you know. So people, especially as adults, you know, this whole adult accountability thing, it's like I've heard parents say, oh, my child went to jail, my child did this, and I feel like I failed as a parent. Like, don't hold yourself accountable for someone else's actions, but a lot of stuff that we need to hold ourselves accountable for, we don't, you know. And our health is one thing, you know. Like I said, I know people who I probably do more steps in one day than they do in a whole week, you know. And it's sad how we just become adults. We get so wrapped up in working and life and kids and bills, and we kind of neglect ourselves, you know. This is where we're at right now. Let's say this path, it ain't much to look at around here, but every now and again you get an occasional Christmas light. This whole Xperia setup is pretty cool for short videos. Let's say I'm almost an hour in, I'm down to 62%, so I may not make it the whole trip with this, but so one of the craziest holidays is coming up for me, which is New Year. And I've always hated the concept of the New Year. That's when people start getting their lives together, and yeah, my life is so messed up right now, but I'm gonna wait till January 1st to hit the reset button and everything's like a magic pill, you know? Like, if your life is in shambles right now, so screwed up right now, don't wait until January 1st to fix the problem. This trash can scared the hell out of me like I was a dude standing there. This happens when you don't wear your glasses. But yeah, like New Year's coming up, and every year you see an influx in people in the gym, like, oh, January 1st, it's so many people in the gym, so many people, and you start chiseling away, and then a month later, 2 months later, 4 months later, then 6 months later, it's back to the original handful of people who were there, you know? And it's like, people can't get focused enough to stick to nothing, you know? Like, you know, my drive and my focus for my goals are, and my goals are pretty simple. I'm not trying to get a 6-pack and, you know, throw up 500 pounds of weight. And, you know, my goals is just to be healthy enough. My daughter's about to be 19. I want to at least live till she's 30, maybe. And she's like on her feet and stable and have her own family. And just, that's for me. I just want to make sure I'm here long enough for the people who depend on me, and I also want to look good in the process, you know. I remember when my daughter was smaller, we would go to school. I would drop off at school, or they had like school events or whatever, plays or whatever, and you would see some of these people coming in, some of these dads walk in, and they're 400 or 500 pounds. And not saying that has anything to do with your parental abilities or anything, but I just felt it would be embarrassing for me to walk in and like, dude, your dad's fat as hell. Does he do anything? He don't run nothing but his mouth. So that's part of the reason I walk. I'm diabetic. I want to be healthy as long as possible. And I want to look good in the process and be here long enough to make sure the people that depend on me are on their feet and good, you know. So, and also one of my other goals I've always had, I guess, I don't even want to call it gynecomastia, aka man boobs. I've had these since, I don't know how long I've had them, but I remember in 7th grade when I was in athletics. That's when I realized I had them. We were playing basketball in athletics. And coach was like, hey, y'all need to break into shirts and skins. So, you know, I wasn't really good in basketball. I couldn't dribble like the way I wanted to. But I had a pretty decent shot when I was stationary or whatever. So I was like, bet, let's play some basketball, you know. So he went down the line, you shirt, you skin, you shirt, you skin. Of course, I was skins. So I didn't think nothing of it. So I started playing the game and I'm defending someone. Next thing you know, everyone started laughing. And I'm like, hey, kikiing, laughing, ha, ha, ha. And I was like, hey, what's going on? I want to laugh too. You know, don't leave me out. I want to laugh too. So I kind of read the room and see that they were like making fun of me. So I looked down and I saw I had these breasts on my chest. Like that was 7th grade. I don't know how old you were in 7th grade. I guess early teen or whatever. I don't know. And the rest of the game, I just walked around with my hands covering them up. And like I said, that killed my confidence for the next 20 years. And shortly after high school, I joined the Brenham Fitness Gym and worked out, and they still didn't go anywhere. So I just said, okay, it's gynecomastia. So then a few years later, I saw this documentary on TV, and they were saying that, if exercise doesn't help, you may have a hormonal disbalance or imbalance or whatever. And the only way to get them removed is to fix that imbalance or to get them surgically removed, So I was like, damn, I didn't want to go through no surgery because, I don't know, just the thought of going to surgeries didn't sound right to me. So I worked out a little longer, and it's like I didn't see any progress in them. And I just said, F it, must be genetics. They're not going anywhere. Same with my diabetes, for years. I mean, as a child, I always thought I was going to be rich because I was special, I was smart. I had a way with handling people, like, customer service, or even my friends, just make people laugh and really, in my opinion, I put a lot of good energy out into the world. I'm real, but I'm positive. A lot of people take realness as negativity. Like, no, if I know, just like say, you tell me to fly, hey, I can't fly, oh, stop being so negative, not just being real with myself, And this kind of goes back to that adult accountability. Here's some more Christmas lights right here.
Split pace, 20 minutes, 12 seconds.
All right, I'm at the 3 mile mark. They got music and lights going. It's pretty cool. We got more lights over here. Yes, as I stated, as a child, I always thought I was going to be rich, and I felt I had superpowers, like not that I could fly or anything, but I just always felt that there was something special about me. I was going to be rich and world known, and it's like the older I got, that dream kind of faded away. Like, damn, I am going to die one day. I'm just an average person. And then when I found out I had diabetes, I was like, well, I guess I don't have superpowers or whatever. And I just charged it off as genetics because my mom was diabetic, my grandmother was diabetic, So I was at home one day, and I was just extremely thirsty for some reason. I was like, what the hell's going on? So I'm drinking water and Gatorade, and my daughter's mom, my ex-wife, she was a nurse. And I called her, I was like, hey, something's going wrong. She's like, oh, you sound like you're just dehydrated, go get Pedialyte. So I'm drinking Pedialyte, Gatorade, water, and I'm just peeing, and I just couldn't quench my thirst. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I finished my Pedialyte. I said, let me go buy some more. Maybe I'm not drinking enough. So went to Walmart, got like 3 bottles of Pedialyte, and I'm pushing a basket through the store. And I'm standing there waiting to check out. And next thing you know, it felt like someone put a curtain over my face. Everything just went fuzzy. My eyes are kind of like someone that hit a button. My eyes are just turned off. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I just left the basket there. I walked to the car, like I could see shapes and stuff like that. I could see shapes. Here's more Christmas lights right here. Pretty basic, but it's pretty cool. I just like lights. Not gonna hang any, but I just like lights, especially my photography. But anyways, so I walked to the car, and I just drove to the doctor or whatever, and I didn't have an appointment or anything else. I just pulled up, and she was like, oh, come in. So she came in, and she was like, how did you get here? Did I go to the emergency room first? Oh, that's what it was. I went to the doctor, and they were like moving locations or something or whatever, so I didn't get a chance to see my doctor, so I went to the emergency room. That's what it was. So I get to the emergency room, and the lady asked me, how did I get here? I said, I drove. And she was like, you're legally blind right now? And I was like, what the hell is going on? So first thing she did was check my blood sugar, and of course, it's high as all get out, high as giraffe tail. So she was like, how long have you been diabetic? I said, I'm not diabetic. And she was like, well, yeah, you are. So she gave me these pamphlets and these books and was preaching this and this about eating better and exercise and blah, 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 blah. And number one, I'm still dealing with the shock of being diabetic, you know. So she looked at me and she was like, you know, I know there's a lot of information. Don't worry about the information right now. Just kind of, you know, let it soak in that, yeah, you are diabetic, you know. So, I don't know, that kind of killed my spirit, you know. So now I'm just fat dude with man boobs and diabetes, and didn't know what to do. So like I said, I charge it off as genetics, you know. My grandmother and my mom were diabetics. So more Christmas lights right here. But like I said, she went to the emergency room or whatever, and the lady, she was like, you know, she was saying something was off and I need to put me in and admit me to the hospital. So I was like, oh wow, that's, you know, pretty serious to be in the hospital, you know. So I called my daughter's mom. She was a nurse, whatever, and I said, hey, just want to let you know that I'm in the hospital right now and I'm in ICU. She was like, ICU? I said, yeah, they got me in the ICU unit, you know. She was like, oh my God, that means you're dying. And I was like, really? She said, yeah, it's intensive care. And I was like, oh shit. I just thought the hospital was just the hospital. She was like, no, you're in ICU. This is serious, you know. So that scared the shit out of me. So I'm laying up in ICU and they got me on these machines. They got this one of these socks that were massaging my feet and had me like 2 different IVs, and they were checking my blood sugar like every 30 minutes or, oh shit. See, this shit I be talking about. He's behind the fence though. So yeah, they were checking my blood sugar like every 30 minutes, every hour or whatever. And the meds they had me on, you know, blood sugar would go to normal. And then they'll say, oh, Mr. Mays, here's some food. So they bring me some food out. It'd be carrots, potatoes, you know, just stuff they serve in the hospital, whatever. And then as soon as I would eat anything, I mean, it wasn't anything sweet, my blood sugar would shoot back up. I mean, just off anything. So this went on for like 2 days, and I'm like, I don't understand, like, why is my blood sugar keep shooting up like this for, you know, eating nothing, you know? So I asked the nurse, like, hey, what's going on? Why is this happening? Why are y'all feeding me food that's making my blood sugar spike or whatever? And she was like, well, I don't know. I'm looking at her like, you a damn nurse, how the hell you don't know? She said, well, I have the dietitian come down. So the dietitian comes down, this elderly lady, you can tell she's been a nurse for years and years, and you know, and this kind of, hopefully I don't forget, I want to talk about why people die. So she was, like I said, this was 2000 and I want to say 16 when I went to the ICU. So the lady, I mean, I don't know, she looked like she was every bit of maybe 70 years old back then. So I don't know what the lady is now, but she came down, she said, hey, I'm the dietitian. They said you have some questions. And I was like, yeah, I don't understand, like, you know, why y'all giving me food to make my blood sugar spike. So she was like, well, let me explain it to you like this. I said, oh, well, here we go. Let's see, your body is like a car, and you need carbs to get to fuel that car. And if without carbs, your car won't run. And I'm looking at her like, well, these carbs are making my car not run because I'm in ICU for, of course. So I wasn't rude to the lady. I was like, okay, well, you know, she was talking to me like I was 6. So I was just, okay, you the dietitian, you know more than me. So for that third day I was in there, because she was like, we can't let you out until your blood sugar becomes stable or whatever. So I smelled trash or something. Ugh. Smells horrid. So That third day I was in there, they brought my food out to me, and I didn't eat nothing that day. So then they were like, okay, your blood sugar, was maintained through a whole day, only because I didn't tell them I didn't eat, So I went home and they started me on metformin, and I was hearing that metformin is terrible for your kidneys, and then it was giving me, my doctor told me that metformin could cause like diarrhea or in some cases constipation. So I got the worst end of the diarrhea from metformin, and it would like burn on the way out, like I was like, it was acidic or something. I was like, oh my God, what is this? So I stopped taking it because it burned so bad. So I started doing my own research, whatever, shout out to the information age. We all have computers in our pockets, AKA phones, AKA Facebook machines. That's a whole nother topic for another day. These phones, we can run a whole business off our phone, but we'd rather go on Facebook and scroll and entertain adult drama like we were back on the playground. But anyways, I was doing my own research, and I started learning that, listen, where I'm from, because I was born in 77, we called it sugar. It was called sugar diabetes. So I always thought that sugar spiked your blood sugar, just only sugar. I was like, well, I don't eat a lot of sweets, So I had sugar diabetes. But as I researched, I was starting, reading stuff about killer carbs, and, carbs, you should have like, 5% carbs and 20% protein, and the rest should be fats. Oh, I didn't show y'all these lights here. These are pretty right here. I love this house every year, every holiday. Always have something nice going on. Yeah, so I was reading that corn is bad for you. Well, I wouldn't say it's bad for you, but corn spikes your blood sugar. Potatoes, they have benefits, but they spike your blood sugar. Rice and pasta have benefits, but it spikes your blood sugar. Breads, even if it is whole grain, spikes your blood sugar, but it does have, benefits. Then they were saying that, of course, sugar spikes it. Even like fruits and certain vegetables, spikes it. I was like, oh my God, I can't eat nothing, And then I was reading that your body needs sugar, but it can transform protein into sugar for the tiny bit of sugar that your body needs. So we don't need added sugar in our body, because protein creates sugar when your body needs sugar. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that. So just imagine eating a meal. Let's say get you a nice steak or whatever, healthy steak. And you got some pasta and some bread and a few potatoes and a sugary drink to wash it down. And then you get you a slice of cake. And now you're eating carbs, killer carbs, and a ton of sugar. And that's where the problem comes in. It's not like it's a one-time thing. It's just the American diet, The American diet. I saw this one of my favorite YouTubers, Dr. Eric Berg. He was talking about how the Asians stay so small and they eat a lot of pasta and rice and stuff, And people asking, how do they successfully eat pasta and rice and they stay so small, And spoiler alert, over there they don't sit down in one helping and eat pasta and rice and potatoes and dessert and a sugary drink. They don't do all that in their setting, so they can eat their pasta or the rice or whatever, and that'll be their starch, And when you eat healthy starches or just healthier foods, they last longer in your body. You're fuller for a longer period of time. So you kind of cut out, they don't do pointless snacking. So it's not really what you eat. It's more on the lines of the portions. American portions are huge, It's kind of like we're feeding ourselves to death, So like I said, I was learning all this. I was diabetic, and Then I was hearing stories of people who are actually reversing their diabetes. And I don't know, I guess I'm not built for that one. The mine definitely not reversed, but I know when I'm in normal levels, from 80 to like 140, when my doctor said I need to be, I feel terrible. But soon I'm like 180, 200, it's like my body is like, I feel great, you know, but they say, oh, it's too high. And you know, over time, you're doing a lot of wear and tear to your body, and, you know, and I think I told a story once before. I went to the doctor one day for a regular checkup, whatever, and she wasn't in. Shout out to Miss Mandy. I love Miss Mandy. She's hilarious. But anyways, this other doctor was filling in for her, and we were just having a conversation about diabetes, and I don't know, he asked me something, or I asked him something, I don't remember, but he was like, a lot of people don't understand what diabetes is or what it does, you know? And he was like, you know, you take the word blood sugar, the word blood sugar is kind of self-explanatory. It's the amount of sugar that's in your blood. These people always have a puddle of water right here, and I'm just so scared of slipping and falling. I am so scared of falling in a puddle of water on the side of the road at 5 o'clock in the morning. No one sees you laying there for like 2 hours until the EMS comes or whatever. But anywho's, so he was like, you know, blood sugar is just the amount of sugar in your blood. So imagine taking a water hose, hooking it to a faucet, and you see how easily the water flows through the water hose. He said that's how your blood should be flowing through your veins. But imagine taking that same water hose and hooking that faucet to a barrel of honey or a barrel of syrup, and you turn it on and watch how slow your blood flows through your veins, you know? And he said, yeah, when you have too much blood sugar, it's harder to get your blood through your veins, you know, because it's so much sugar, it's thicker, which causes your heart and kidneys to work harder to try to pump this syrup through your body, you know? And he also wanted to say, like, you know, you ever go to the store and you see bananas with the brown spots or whatever. He said when bananas start turning brown, that's the sugar on the inside eating its way out. And that's what sugar does to your enamel, it does to your organs. If you have high sugar in your blood for too long, the acidic level in the sugar will start eating your organs, like inside out, you know. And like I said, it's not a painful process, but I mean, over time, it's deadly, you know. So that's why it's very important to get your sugars out of your bloodstream. And that's why I walk at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know. But I also learned that diabetes type 2 is not hereditary. It's kind of like you kind of give it to yourself. That gift that keeps on giving. You give it to yourself from poor dieting and making excuses of why you can't be more active, or making excuses why you can't cut back your portions. And I remember a close friend of mine, I was telling about the OMAD diet. OMAD means 1 meal a day. I was telling her, you pick a certain time of the day, kind of like in the middle of the day, kind of go hungry a little bit in the morning or whatever, and find that spot, you eat, and then that's it for that whole day. And she was like, oh my God, don't do that. You're gonna make yourself sick. We're supposed to eat 3 times a day. And I was like, no, that's not true. You're only supposed to eat when your body tells you that you're hungry. You know, that's kind of weird to say, you know what? It's 2 o'clock, I'm not hungry, but let me go eat something just because, you know, if you're not hungry, just like thirst, you know. People say you're supposed to drink 8 glasses of water a day or 8 cups a day, and that's the only way to lead a healthy life, if you drink all this water. And if you can overdo it on water. I've heard stories that this lady was at a radio station or something, she was doing a contest, and I think she drank a gallon of water too fast, and she like dropped dead. I'm like, oh my God, you know, stuff that's supposed to keep you alive is killing you now. But too much of anything can be detrimental to us. So I have a friend, pretty heavy dude. We were talking one day about water intake. I was like, yeah, I drink a gallon of water a day. And he was like, man, my doctor told me that's not good. Because if you're on medications, you're peeing out your medications and it's not good for your kidneys and your bladder. So I asked my doctor about it and she was like, well, yeah, that is true to an extent. Well, my toe hurts. She said that if you're not active, you don't require a lot of water. And my dude, he works or whatever, but I don't think he's that active after work or whatever. So I guess, the more active you are, the more water your body requires, So like I said, that lifestyle and your lifestyle, it differs. I mean, that way certain medicines work on certain people and certain medicines don't work on other people, What works for the goose may not work for the gander, But I don't know, I just enjoy drinking water. I just feel so refreshed. I know it purifies your body or whatever, but it is true, too much water if you're on any kind of medication. But, like I said, medication to me is like attacking the problem, not the solution. Because at the same time, when you are urinating out your meds, you're urinating out, you're lowering your blood pressure, getting impurities out of your body. You're flushing sugars out of your urine. So like I said, it has its benefits. So I guess, I don't know what's worse, too much water or not enough water, So, oh man, that smells good out here. And I'm down to 46%, so it might make it. I'm a little over halfway. But this is the main strip on my journey. It's called Longmire because it's a long strip or whatever. But anyways, yeah, so it's very, very important that we get this, keep the sugars out of our bloodstream, a lot of people are saying that, Ozempic's out now and it was created for diabetics, and then they saw the benefit of the weight loss. So Hollywood kind of got involved and started buying it up, and which caused the price to all right, I'm at my 3-mile mark. So yeah, so Ozempic came out. So I've lost a lot of, I can't say I've lost weight, but I've toned up a whole lot. I remember when I first got on keto, it's probably 2017 after I got out of the ICU. I started keto, and I went down from 320. I think I got down to 270. And then I started slowly gaining it back, but I don't know if it was mostly muscle coming back or whatever, but unless my clothes started fitting better, but on a scale, I had to gain a little weight back. So right now I'm fluctuating in between 287 and 295, one day I'm 280, next day I'm 290. And like last night I weighed myself, I was at 295. I was like, oh shit, Like I said, I don't know if I'm losing weight, but I am toning up. I do have like 2 problem spots on my stomach where I do my insulin injections for my diabetes management, and I've read articles about how insulin, it takes the sugar out of your bloodstream and it stores it as fat, so wherever you inject insulin, you're gonna have fat pockets there, and I have these 2 areas, you can't see now, but they're like kind of like love handles on the front of your stomach or whatever, and they're not really going anywhere. Here's some water right here. Remember one morning I was walking through here, and I don't know, I guess I scared the sprinkler, because it's like right when I walked past it, it changed the direction and sprayed me right in the face. And then I stepped off the curb and the car was coming. The car was too close to the bike lane. I was like, oh shit. But anyways, yes, I asked my doctor about it. I was like, hey, I hear this stuff Ozempic's out and it's good for weight loss, blah, 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 blah. And she tried it last year. She prescribed it for me, but the insurance was like, they wanted me to pay $1,000 for a month's supply. And I was like, and the insurance, they covered it, but the bulk of it came out of my pocket. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just leave that shit alone. So fast forward to this year, I don't know what changed over the years, but she gave me another prescription for it, and I tried to fill it, and they was like, oh yeah, we got it in stock, and your insurance is only you have to pay $25 to get it. So okay, cool. So before I even picked it up, I asked my doctor, I said, hey, now that I got this Ozempic shot, do I need to stop taking my insulin? She was like, no. So I was kind of confused about what Ozempic really was and what it really did. I just knew it helped with weight loss. You know, it's like, if I can lose these fat pockets and get my man boobs a little bit down to at least to an A cup, I'll be good, you know. Because this is what I forgot to say about a couple of miles back was one of my goals in life is to be able to go to a beach and take my shirt off. You know, I've always been embarrassed since that day in 8th grade, 7th grade when I started athletics and I discovered my man boobs. I've always had wanted to go to a beach, just take my shirt off and just walk around proud, you know, like, you know, not ashamed. But some of our doctors was like, no, you still have to keep taking your insulin. And she said her husband was on Ozempic and he got to wean himself off of his blood pressure medicine, his cholesterol medicine, and he just had all these benefits from it. So she said she swore by it, you know, not for the weight loss, but just for the, you know, aiding you in getting off the other medicines. So she said you will experience some side effects, you know, your bowel movements will change. She said some people get diarrhea, and some people get congestion. I forgot, my mind went blank. The opposite of diarrhea, constipation. So, and she said, oh, there's a way some people get this thyroid cancer, and just, I was like, oh shit, do I really want to fool with this? So, I got home and I took the Ozempic shot. You take one shot per week. It's a weekly thing, not a daily thing. And I instantly just felt my body change, you know, like I wasn't going to the bathroom as frequently. And so I kind of read up on it, what I should have done before I injected it into myself. But hey, we all guinea pigs on this green planet. So I took my little Ozempic shot. Then I read up on it. And I read that it doesn't manage diabetes the way I thought it did. I thought it was a form of insulin. But no, what it does is whenever you eat, it slows down digestion, which keeps you full longer. You know, I was like, okay, being full longer is a good thing, but I don't like the thought of food sitting in my stomach longer than it should, you know. But I was like, okay, well, if I'm feeling full longer, I guess that, I don't know. I guess it's like a double-edged sword. It was a gift and a curse all in once, you know. So I just had this problem, which is with the idea of food just sitting in my stomach longer than it should and stuff like that or whatever. But people are losing weight. I don't think I'm gonna renew it because, like I said, just all this walking that I'm doing and that's another thing. I walk a hell of a lot. I go to the gym at least 3 days a week. I go to the gym. When I don't go to the gym, I do this walk that I'm doing now. And you know, my blood pressure and blood sugar, it's all high still, you know, compared to, I guess, their charts or whatever would say what they say is normal or whatever. Everything's still high. But I mean, I feel good. I remember one day I ate I was off one day and I cooked some bacon. I may have eaten too many pieces of bacon, I guess. And my head literally started swimming. I just felt my blood pressure up. So, like I said, it's all about portions and what you eat or whatever. So I don't really, well, I said I was gonna stop eating bacon, but I did kind of cut back on it. But I do remember the last time I really ate some bacon, I guess I hate crispy bacon. Crispy bacon is like eating cardboard. It's like it's not like meat. You know, I love to chew. So anyway, I guess I cooked the bacon. I didn't cook it long enough. So I felt it sitting in my stomach, and I was like, oh my God, I need to go to the restroom, but it's just sitting here. I feel like I got a rock in my stomach. So long story short, went to the restroom one day, and when I was done, I wiped, and it was like bright red. I was like, oh my God, I'm pooping blood. So of course, the group that never goes to the doctor definitely went to the doctor for that. And the doctor was like, oh, it's called colitis. It's pretty common. I was like, there's nothing common about pooping blood. It's not, it can't be common. That can't be a thing on God's green earth. So I just chalked it off as it was the bacon, because that was the only thing I ate that day. And that's when I got my prescription to set an appointment up for my colonoscopy. And I got that done, and everything came back clear, no polyps or whatever. But I said, this health thing is real, you know. With all the things we've eaten, the abuse that we've done to our bodies over the years. Yeah, we really torn our bodies up over the years, you know. I remember, what the hell was that? Oh, but back to the Ozempic before I switch topics. There's another side effect from Ozempic called stomach paralysis. And I guess it's self-explanatory. Your stomach gets paralyzed. And I guess it stops working or whatever. I don't know, just the thought of that is like another issue in itself. Like, you know, so that's why, like I said, you know, taking Ozempic is like focusing on a problem, not the solution, you know. Just a nice little workout regimen. Just a simple walk. I mean, you don't have to get jacked in the gym with steroids and all that other crazy stuff. You can just do a regular walk and feel good. Your clothes will fit better and whatever. So yeah, stomach paralysis, that don't sound like a good thing to have. My doctor did say that if you're gonna do the Ozempic, you will notice yourself being thirsty or more. I'm not sure what happens, but while your electrolytes are lower. So she told me to try that stuff called Liquid IV. And you can find it at Walgreens, Walmart, or anywhere. It's just a what they call it, electrolyte drink, whatever. And I found it at Walgreens. It's kind of pricey, I guess you could say. You get 6 of them for like $12. I think it's like $12.99. You get 6, and you just mix it in a bottle of 16-ounce water, shake it up real good, and drink it, you know. And I remember the first time I had a bottle of it, just 16 ounces of it, I felt like I came alive. Like it was like my electrolytes had been replenished over the years. Because years ago, I was in Sealy, Texas when I worked for Coca-Cola. I stopped at this place called Hensley Barbecue, and I ate, I think it was a barbecue potato. And that night when I got home, I had got so sick. Went to the restroom, I was vomiting. The food came up, more food came up, more food came up. Then I started vomiting clear stuff. So I just thought it was water. Then from clear, the liquid started getting darker. It was like some yellows, and some purples, and some greens. And I remember I had 1 foot on the floor, 1 foot in the tub. And I was kind of leaning over the toilet. I don't know which direction I was going, but I just remember waking up and I was just like kind of just laying on the bathroom floor, and I guess I had vomited so much that I had passed out or whatever. So at the time I was dating my daughter's mom. This is before my daughter was even thought of. So she took me to the emergency room or whatever, and they put me on the IV, gave me some fluids and all this other good stuff. And she gave me like 3 bags of IV, and she was like, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. She's like, we've given you 3 bags of IV and your levels are still not where they need to be. So go home, drink Gatorade and water, you know. So I don't know, I feel like, and this was, sheesh, back in 03, 04. So I feel like my entire life I've been dehydrated my whole life. But like I said, when I took that first shot of that liquid IV, I don't know what's in that stuff, but I opted for the sugar-free version because I am diabetic. But like I said, I feel like I came alive. It was like so amazing. I felt like I had power that I didn't have over the last 20 years. And it helped with my digestion and my Ozempic bowel movement issues, I guess you could say. So, like I said, it's kind of pricey, but I mean, we need electrolytes in our life. You know, oh, and this just reminded me of this one topic I was going to do before I got sidetracked about 3 miles ago. Speaking of miles, my 4th mile is about to come up when I make this corner. So I know this trail or this path like the back of my hand because I do it so much. So as I stated, oh, I'm a little bit ahead of schedule for some reason. Usually, I don't know. Well, I get probably, no, I take it back. It goes back there on the 4th one. The 5th one is when I make the corner right before I turn on my street. So I guess I don't know the path as well as I thought I did. But I was I'm trying to get into podcasts, like listening to them. I've always had this thing with people talking was just annoying to me. I guess I'm talking, probably annoying the hell out of y'all. But this guy, I was washing dishes one day and I told Google to turn on this podcast or whatever. And this guy, I don't know if he's a preacher or whatever, but this is Rock Prairie right here, one of the main strips in South College Station. And here's Walgreens here. They get a lot of my money each month when I re-up on my meds that I wish I could stop taking. And then here's Whataburger. Some people, it's a Texas thing. A lot of people swear by it or whatever. I'm not really a fan. I don't know, I guess if you're into burgers, it's okay or whatever, but I'm more of a homemade burger type of guy. But anyway, the name of the podcast was The Gift of Death. That's what it was called. And I was like, how is death a gift, you know? And I really kind of, I don't know, I listened and I still couldn't grasp that concept of how death could be a gift or whatever. So I don't know, I listened to it and I guess it was what it was. And then did a little research on it. And I guess from my own, I like how this looks. I love how this looks. So, but anyway, what I got from it was when people die, so do old ideas. But just imagine if old ideas didn't die. Kind of reminds me of the time my mother bought our first microwave. My grandmother was like, don't use that thing. It don't get hot, but the food is hot and the plate is hot, but the whole box is not hot. There's something wrong with it. It don't sound right. It didn't make sense to her, so she wouldn't let us use the microwave, you know. So I said, old ideas die when people die, you know. Back to that old nurse I was talking about. Like when I was in school, they trained us, taught us about the food groups, and you're supposed to eat 3 meals a day to be healthy, and breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And basically what they said, even in the mornings, if you wake up and you're not hungry, you eat breakfast because it's the most important meal of the day. And you get you a big ass glass of orange juice with all that sugar on your pancakes, and because it's the most important meal of the day, and you got all day to burn it off. And you know, then they went on to tackle the whole fat-free. You can get dressing, salad dressing, fat-free, salt-free. And salt is where salt or sodium, that's where your electrolytes come in at. And fats, healthy animal fats are really good for you, so they cut out the fats in those dressings, they cut out the salts, but they added, seemed like they added more sugar, so just being taught that, eating 3 square meals a day and breakfast the most important meal and all this other stuff, those ideas kind of died off when people started realizing that, America's the fattest nation in the world, So why are we eating so much? And why are we having so much? I also remember when I worked for Coca-Cola. I worked there from the year 2000 up to 2006. The school district had told us we had to go by and pick up all of our Coke machines because soda was making kids fat. And they wanted them out of the school. Only machine we could have had to have like water, Powerade, and like juices in it. So there, I remember my I guess call him a plant manager or whatever. His name was Dwayne Barron or something like that. I remember me coming to a meeting. He had this little country twang with him. He was like, the damn school district said we gotta go through, pick up all these machines from the school, saying that the soda's making kids fat. That's horse shit. And I was like, okay, well, I understand that cuts into your bonus or your check, whatever, when you're losing accounts or whatever, but I mean, maybe they're on to something. Then he went on to say, it's these damn computers. Kids are on video games, computers. They don't get out and play as much as they used to, and that's why they're fat. And I mean, yeah, he had an argument on that, but from my research over the years when they were changing Coke's recipe or whatever, they changed the type of sugar. They went from like cane sugar to like this high fructose corn syrup, which is manufactured sugar, and it's high fructose. That's why your body can't break it down, because it's so high. So I don't know. I don't remember what happened with that situation, but I do know they had removed the machines because they was making kids fat, and like I said, and it holds some weight, pun intended. I think sodas do make people fat, and it's just not just a snipe one idea and we're all healed. It's like a bowling ball. When you clean a bowling ball, you have to clean around the entire thing. So it's the entire process that needs to be changed. Less sugars, less sodas, more activities. I don't even think they still offer PE in school anymore, because I know after school people go home and get on the video game and they don't go to the park like they used to. But like I said, after 10 or 15 years of destroying our body, you see a lot of people my age walking, trying to get healthy. And just like, I wish I would have had this information when I was 25, 30 years old.
Pace, 20 minutes.
All right, so I'm at the 5th mile mark. This is the street Normand, which is the street before mine. It is now 6:12 in the morning. It's still dark out here.
It's 6:12 a.m.
Yes, Siri, I know it's 6:12 a.m. So I just hit the 5 mile mark. I'm about to hit the corner and go home. But yeah, like I was saying, just like cleaning a bowling ball, you have to clean around it. So we need to drink more water, get more active, push back from the table, cut our portions probably in half, train your stomach to eat less, stop pointless snacking. And I think that's the biggest one, because a lot of times we just sitting there, like we see a commercial on TV, we're like, hey, I'm not hungry, but those chips do sound. And then this dude I used to know at the gym, he used to say, one day he was on the couch eating a bag of chips, and next thing you know, the whole family party size chips bag was gone, So he was like, I made it my business now to put some in a bowl and go watch TV or whatever when I eat when I do eat them. So I just put some in a bowl, leave the bag in the kitchen, because he's like, my big ass ain't finna be making trips back and forth. So that's how he cut his portions in half, just by putting keeping the bag in the kitchen. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna be going back and forth. So once this bowl is gone, I'm not gonna go get any more because I'm lazy or whatever. And he said he started losing weight that way, just keeping snacks out of arm's reach. Walk more, exercise more, increase your water intake, meditate, pray, be positive, smile at people in the store. Just, I don't know, it's just, to me, it's just easier. It takes more energy to be nasty and rude than it does to be loving, you know. It's just seems natural to be loving. All right, so now we're down to 31% battery life. So I guess it did make it this whole time. Now the new Sony phone out just came out, but it wasn't in the American market. So they cut back on the screen resolution, put a better chip in it, and they said that the battery life is outstanding now. But I'm gonna hang on to this one because I just got this one, a year and a half ago. So I'm still loving the whole Sony. Makes it easy to vlog. Like I said, I've never done a vlog this long. And the first Sony phone I had, the Pro I, we all know it had that overheating issue, whatever, but I'm done talking about that dead horse. But yeah, so I'm gonna go home, take a shower, make me some tea, probably lay back down for about an hour or so, and start my Sunday ritual of cleaning, a little laundry, and then just kind of relaxing the rest of the day. I may do I call it Ironman Monday when I walk from Bryan to College Station. That's 7.5 mile walk I was just telling you about earlier. I haven't done that. I didn't do it all last week because it started getting cold outside, and then the holiday was coming up, so I wanted to make sure I got home because, like I said, it takes about 2.5 hours. Unless I just put on some music, and it's just like, it's a nice little walk. The part that when I first started, part of the trail doesn't have sidewalks. So you're walking in a lot of grass, uneven grass. I'm scared of buckling a knee or ankle or something on some uneven dirt and grass. But once you cross over to College Station, there's nothing but sidewalks. So that's when the trail becomes a little bit, I wouldn't say easier, but you don't have to focus on where you're stepping as much. It becomes a little safer in my opinion as well, from a falling standpoint. But alrighty, so right now, here's my progress. My heart rate has really gone down since I started working out. I remember sitting in the house, just my heart rate's at 130, 140 beats per second. And I didn't know. I didn't know nothing. But as I started working out, I started conditioning myself on the treadmill. I'm at like 122. I'm on the treadmill. Usually when I'm walking about 130, but now I'm at 112 beats. You know, some of my heart's, I guess it's healthy. I'm beating less beats more efficiently. So, all right. So this ends my 5-mile walk. I really appreciate y'all if you made it through the whole video. If you didn't, I'm not mad because I know I'm boring as hell and I just messed up the whole script anyways, but just made it to the house. I'm about to end this. I appreciate y'all, the iLL community. Keep on looking out for more videos like this. Peace.